Hello everyone, welcome to Inconvenient Truths. I'm your host, Jennifer Zheng. Over the past few days, many significant events have unfolded, especially the latest round of anti-Japanese actions triggered by Japan's discharge of treated water from the Fukushima nuclear power plant. This has left the world astonished. I've translated numerous videos from China in recent days that show extreme hatred towards Japan. I won't go into specifics here, but for those who haven't seen them yet, you can find them on my channel. Although this latest move by the CCP doesn't surprise those familiar with Chinese affairs, we still need to ask why such actions were taken at this particular moment. Besides the well-known need to divert attention, I believe this move may be related to the strategic decision I discussed in the previous episode, where Xi Jinping made the determination to achieve a strategic victory against the US and the West right at China's doorstep, which is the Taiwan Strait. By observing the recent events in China, we can say that a perfect storm for the CCP's demise is brewing. Now, let's check four such events one by one. First, according to a Reuters report, Xi Jinping is likely not to attend the upcoming G20 summit in India, which will also push back the US-China summit. It is reported that China's Premier Li Qiang is expected to go instead. If Xi Jinping indeed misses the G20 meeting, there are only two possible reasons: a severe health issue or a significant domestic crisis in China. Which one is it? We may soon find out. Secondly, there are reports indicating that the CCP's elite military units experienced significant losses during the recent flooding of Zhuozhou City in Hebei province. This flooding was done as a measure to protect Beijing and Xi Jinping's pet project, the Xiong'an New Area. This news was confirmed by former Chinese journalist Zhao Lanjian, who has now fled to the US. He said that his former colleague in China, through a former comrade from the CCP's Central Guard Bureau, who is currently working at the military program at CCTV, confirmed that the military forces stationed in Baoding City, Hebei province, had been inundated by the massive flood we previously reported on. The entire military unit was submerged, resulting in heavy casualties. It can be confirmed that this incident is true, but the former Central Guard Bureau comrade does not dare to disclose specific details such as the number of casualties. Zhao Lanjian mentioned that news of the entire army military unit being engulfed by floodwater is no longer a secret. Government officials in Beijing, news media personnel, and others have been discreetly discussing and openly talking about it on WeChat. This is why, despite the dire situation at the flood site in Zhuozhou, none of the top leaders of the CCP visited or inspected the area. It's because there were too many military personnel drowned, and the CCP leaders feared protests and rebellion within the military. According to online reports, the submerged military unit was 112th Brigade of the 82nd Army. I checked, and the number of personnel in one brigade is about 5,000 to 7,000 people. Regardless of how many soldiers among these thousands were drowned, one can imagine that the impact on morale and military spirit would be tremendous if the soldiers realize that they too can become victims of unannounced flood releases Does it make any sense for them to fight and sacrifice for the CCP? Furthermore, in addition to casualties, all the military equipment of the unit was also destroyed, including tanks, aircraft, and more. According to the Epoch Times, the unit that was submerged in this incident was Unit 66289. It is located near the campus of the China University of Labor Relations Zhuozhou campus. Adjacent to it is the experimental field of the China Agricultural University. Additionally, there are online reports that the submerged unit was originally the 3rd Ace Army. This unit is considered an elite force within the CCP. All of the brigade's motorized equipment, including tanks, infantry fighting vehicles, self-propelled artillery trucks, anti-aircraft missile launchers, and more were completely submerged. This is the first time in the history of the PLA that such a large-scale flood incident has occurred, and there is significant dissatisfaction within the PLA as a result. I found a judgment document on the China Judgment Document Network website. In this document, the appellant is the People's Liberation Army Unit 66289, and their residence is listed as Biange Zhuang Village in Dongchengfang Town in Zhuozhou City. Furthermore, I found a report published on the website of the China University of Labor Relations, which mentioned that Unit 66289 and Unit 66382 are friendly co-building units of the university. The university leadership visited the units on the occasion of the 91st anniversary of the founding of the PLA, etc. And this report was written by the office of the Zhuozhou campus of the China University of Labor Relations. So this information proves that the PLA Unit 66289 is indeed stationed in Zhuozhou City, confirming the accuracy of the Epoch Times report. According to overseas YouTube channel Lude Media, the unit The units and equipment that were submerged include the armored units of the 22nd Group Army in Zhuozhou City, the Strategic Ammunition Depot, the former Navy Logistics School, which is now a naval warehouse, all of which were completely submerged. The Navy's clothing warehouse is also located there, and this incident will significantly impact the supply of uniforms and quilts of new Navy recruits this year. Furthermore, the teaching building and the computers of the Air Force 6 Flying College in Shijiazhuang City, Hebei Province, were submerged, and all of the simulator aircraft were damaged. This college had recently formed a drone unit with the Unit 93550 of the PLS Air Force. Additionally, the logistic food warehouse of the 82nd Group Army was affected. The most severely affected unit is the Strategic Reconnaissance Unit in Dashiqiao in Zhuozhou City. Aside from personnel, everything else was submerged. The information also states that on July 31st, when the major flooding occurred, Xi Jinping did not directly order to protect Xiong'an because Xi Jinping is currently suffering from Meniere's disease with mild Parkinson's disease, which he inherited from his father, Xi Zhongxun. It was China's new Premier Li Qiang who ordered the flooding of Zhuozhou to appease Xi Jinping, and he did not inform the local garrison. There were rumors online a few days ago that Li Qiang had applied for resignation because the economy was performing poorly. If the news of Li Qiang ordering the flooding of Zhuozhou is true, his asking for resignation may also be related to the disaster he caused. Let's take a look at a short video.
老百姓可难了，现在是有点物资，你的一小矿泉水，咱洗澡也洗不了。
This video was filmed in Dazhou City near Zhuozhou on August 29th. It's been a month since the flood, but the roads are still submerged in water. Residents say that a 3-minute journey now takes 30 minutes to deter. People's lives are still very difficult. It's been a month and they still can't take a shower. The village's water is contaminated and undrinkable, etc. The third event is Lude media first reported on August 21st that a Chinese Navy Type 93 nuclear-powered submarine had reportedly encountered an incident and all naval officers on board were killed. In the initial report, Lude media mentioned the accident area was the Taiwan Strait. However, a few hours later, they updated the information to state that the accident occurred in the Western Pacific Yellow Sea region. They reported that all naval officers on board, including 7 trainees, had died. This information was reported to the CCP's Central Military Commission headquarters at around 2 p.m. Beijing time on August 21st, 2023. Chinese official media denied this news on August 24th and notably mentioned Lude media by name. Usually, the CCP is unwilling to give out specific names in order not to promote the person or organization that they want to suppress. On August 31st, that's yesterday, the spokesperson for the CCP's Ministry of National Defense once again denied that there was any incident involving the sinking of a Type 93 nuclear submarine. However, Lude media not only insist on the submarine incident, but also provided further details, stating that the 93-4717 submarine was equipped with a non-axis pump propulsion system. According to the staged report on this incident, a possible sequence of events was that the non-axis pump propulsion blades got entangled with anchor chains. Submariners exited through the airlock chamber and used a mixture of liquefied gas and oxygen underwater for cutting, but they accidentally opened a natural gas cylinder, causing a leak. The purification system did not trigger an alarm or activate, leading to the death of all personnel. Lude media also mentioned that those lost in this incident were highly experienced technical personnel who had served on submarines for nearly 20 years. Some were qualified to command both submarines and frigates, known as dual qualified captains. Some had even studied in the United States and had PhD degrees from institutions like the School of Oceanography of the University of Washington, D.C. The captain of the submarine was Xue Yongpeng, the officer on the far right in this picture. He was the chief examiner for 4 training assessment of naval nuclear submarines and held the highest rank among examiners. New media also claimed that the reason for Xi Jinping's absence during the BRICS summit in South Africa was to receive reports on this incident. After the CCP issued denials, China expert Stephen Yates commented would be much more convincing now if they could provide live international media coverage of the vessel and crew. Apparently, they can't though. Instead, playing games on incident location Taiwan Strait misdirection versus Yellow Sea originally leaked report. Therefore, considering all available information, it is highly likely that the news about the submarine incident is true, and this incident has had a significant impact on the CCP's active preparations for war. Now, the fourth event. On August 27th, which was a Sunday, China's Ministry of Finance, the State Administration of Taxation, and the China Security Regulatory Commission successively released 4 new policies that can be considered as very good news for the stock market. These policies including halving the stock transaction tax, reducing the number of IPOs, limiting the reduction of shares by original shareholders in the secondary market, and lowering the minimum ratio of financing margin, etc. If these 4 pieces of good news had been announced in the past, they would have likely led to a significant rally in the stock market. For instance, when the stamp duty was reduced from 0.3% to 0.1% on April 24, 2008, the Shanghai Composite Index surged by 9.29%, coming close to hitting the daily trading limit. Similarly, in 2005, when the stamp duty was reduced from 0.2% to 0.1% on January 23rd, it marked the beginning of a 3-year bull market, with the Shanghai Composite Index reaching a historic high of 6,124 points in October 2007. This time, the good news announced on Sunday should have theoretically caused a rise in the stock market on Monday. However, the reality was just the opposite. Look at the 4th green line from the right, which represents the market performance on August 28th. In China, the green color indicates a decline. In other words, on August 28th, the market opened high but quickly reversed, and the uptrend lasted only 1 minute before a continuous decline, turning the 4 pieces of good news into an opportunity for a mass sellout. Some say that the Chinese authorities attempted to stimulate an upward movement in the stock market by introducing these 4 pieces of good news, similar to giving a strong shock to a person on the brink of death to revive him. Unfortunately, such a shock does not work for someone on the verge of death, and this reflects the current state of the Chinese economy. Some people say that in addition to the looming economic collapse, there are 10 signs that the CCP is on the verge of extinction. These include political opacity, a culture where everything is inverted, as described in the recent most popular song Land of the Rakshasas and the Sea Market. The cancer of corruption in its late stage, the apparent demise of Hong Kong, the internationalization of the Taiwan issue, the CCP having no genuine friends on the international stage where its imaginary enemies are all over the world. There is growing discontent among the people, and the various disasters continue to occur. The great pandemic still looms, etc. All these are the signs of the imminent demise of the CCP. On August 19th, the Chinese National Health Commission announced that China's monitoring results show that the EG5 variant of the coronavirus is on the rise, increasing from 0.6% in April to 71.6% in August. It has now become the dominant strain in most provinces in China, and this trend is likely to continue in the near future. From the perspective of hospital visits, people in many regions have experienced a third infection with COVID-19. However, doctors often treat it as a common cold. It remains unclear whether the mutated strain will lead to a new wave of the pandemic. So, in summary, we are living in a unique era, witnessing historic events almost every day. That's what I've been feeling recently. Do you feel the same way? Well, that's all for today. Please remember to subscribe to my channel and double check if you are still subscribed. If you enjoy my content, please kindly share my channel and videos and visit my website at jenniferzengblog.com for membership or donation to support my efforts. Thank you. Have a nice Labor Day long weekend and see you next time.